Hello, everyone. Welcome back to The Journey. Thank you for watching last week's episode on focus and vision. What have you been focusing on this past week? Did you write down your vision? I did, and I have it right here with me, and I'm doing my best to stay focused on what I am hoping for. Today, I'm going to briefly talk about influence. The company we keep will either make us or break us. It's so important to surround yourself with like-minded people. Have you ever met someone who never has a good day? They could have just experienced something amazing, but they will find fault somewhere in that experience. Their outlook on life is grim. They live in upset, pain, and sometimes anger. Then there is the polar opposite, someone who seems to always be joyful and happy. This person sees the glass as half full rather than half empty. They look for something to be happy about rather than for disappointment. How are you influencing others? And how are others influencing you? I'd like to share with you two experiences I've had that are very powerful. The first is my dad, Sylvester Blue. He passed away almost 14 years ago. I miss him more and more every day. He was a great man. Growing up, I had the privilege of watching him practice singing all of the time. He would go into the living room where our Steinway grand piano was, and he'd sit down at the piano and start singing scales. He started with a 5-note scale. Then he would get down onto the floor and do breathing exercises. One day my dad was practicing for an upcoming concert, and I asked him what he was singing. He said, "I'm singing The Trumpet Shall Sound." I asked him if I could sing it too. He laughed and said, "Baby, this song is written only for baritones, but you can sing something else." I didn't know it was only for baritones at the time. I was only 10 years old. My dad was a positive influence in my life, and he still continues to be. I find myself doing exactly what I saw my dad do. I go into the living room of my house, sit at the piano, sing scales, get onto the floor, and do those breathing exercises. I suppose the saying, "the apple doesn't fall far from the tree," is really true in my case. He practiced so much, and he had fun doing it. Watching him inspired me to do what I do today. This is an example of a positive influence. I'd like to share with you an example of a negative influence. I used to have a friend who was always negative. She was never happy and always found fault where most people could find a silver lining. Very seldom did she have a good day. If you asked her, "How are you doing?" she would say something like, "I'm good," but it would be immediately followed by something negative. "I'm good, but I was in traffic today." Or, "I'm doing well, but the sun is shining and it's too hot." Or, "I'm good, but there was a long line at the grocery store. Yeah, I got my groceries, but the line was long." There was always something wrong, something negative, and there was not an amount of positivity that could change her attitude from a pessimistic outlook. I did not realize what a gloomy effect she had on my attitude. One day after I had hung out with this friend, I called my sister Heather, and she said to me on the phone, "Do you notice that when you're around your friend, you are really negative?" I was so offended when my sister said that to me because I prided myself on being an upbeat and positive person. Heather told me to be careful of how I was allowing my friends to influence my attitude. My sister said this to me, "Angel, guard your influences. Whether we are aware of it or not, the company we keep will influence our attitude, our actions, and our outlook on life." Consistently having a negative mindset not only brings down your countenance, it can also have a detrimental effect on your health. Surround yourself with people who will lift you up and not tear you down. Who is in your circle of influence? Are they people who are going to strengthen you on your journey? Or are they constantly saying things that will demoralize or crush your spirit? Another thing to ask yourself is, how are you influencing others? It matters how we are influencing others. While you focus on your vision, I encourage you to also evaluate your relationships and the company you keep. How are these relationships serving each other? When we build each other up, we are also building ourselves up. building up our character. We can help each other by lifting one another on this journey. I'd like to leave you with this quote by Dale Turner. Because everything we say and do is the length and shadow of our own souls. Our influence is determined by the quality of our being. Enjoy your journey. Stay encouraged. I'll see you next week.